What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we have the keys to the 2023 Mercedes AMG EQE. This one is finished off in Starling Blue Metallic. MSRP is $111,000, so let's take a look at Mercedes EV Sedan. Powering the 2023 Mercedes Benz AMG EQE is a 90.6 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack, has 454 kilowatt dual motor system, and can do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds and have a range of about 225 miles. This car pumps out 617 horsepower with 701 pound-feet of torque. However, it can do a boost function briefly and pump up the horsepower to 677 with 738 pound-feet of torque. So it's nice to see an extra bit of boost for a short amount of time. It also has the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system and a single-speed transmission. The overall length is 196.9 inches with wheelbase at 122.8. Width is 75 inches and height is 58.8 inches. The curb weight is also 5,500 pounds. Moving on to the exterior styling now with the AMG EQE. This has a very sleek design all around with very smooth body lines. You can see these blacked out LED headlights along with the DRL up above that, and you get pretty cool horizontal slats within what would be a grille. You can see a massive Mercedes badge with your forward facing camera. Of course, that's also a safety sensor. Then you get your AMG logo on one side, then a lot of body contours with the body color throughout the front bumper. You can see a nice trim piece down below with gloss black and a parking sensor, and then some chrome trim down below in the center grille. There is an opening to allow some cooling to some of the radiators to keep all the electronics nice and cool. And then this front hood piece has a really sharp line on each side disappearing towards this front grille. It does not open up front, that's only for Mercedes technicians. However, it does come together nicely up front to give it a pretty futuristic design. If we take a look at the side profile, you get a parking sensor on the side of the bumper and a very cool set of 20-inch wheels. You can see the AMG name stamped into it. We get a 5-spoke design with two-tone color and a pretty cool design all around the edge. You get that AMG brake caliper as well, and some really smooth body lines all around the wheel. We get the 4MATIC Plus logo as well as the EQE logo, and then some nice chrome trim all around the windows. You get all gloss black trim to really show off the glass, and then you can see body color on the door mirrors along with an LED turn signal and camera. We have a flush mounted set of door handles with body color in chrome, and when you just press them in or out, they will automatically get nice and flush. They're very nicely designed into the bodywork, which is a pretty cool touch. And then going to the full side profile, it's got a very interesting design, just how round everything is. The entire roofline almost takes up the entire side profile. But as a pretty cool proportion overall, you get a pretty sharp body line in the lower portion of the doors, along with gloss black trim, and then a nice chrome trim piece as well. You can see a pretty good bulge for the rear fender arch to give it just a little bit more of that width. And then in back, you can see full panoramic sunroof, all the glass in back with some gloss black trim, an integrated ducktail spoiler in this trunk lid, and then a nice set of LED taillights. Very sunken into the bodywork, and they connect with this LED bar right in the center. We get the AMG logo on the left, EQE on the right, and your backup camera will pop out underneath the Mercedes logo. You can also see a trim piece on the farthest side of the bumper with all gloss black for the lower portion of the bumper. There's some chrome trim pieces as well, more parking sensors, then your license plate right in the center. And overall the rear end comes together well, and I think the style definitely fits with what this is designed to look like. And then now taking a look at the key fob, we get the AMG name on the back side, of course lock, unlock, and the trunk release on the front side. When the car is locked and you're away from it, once you do get close to it, it'll actually automatically pop open those door handles. So pretty cool design to see. Of course it says Mercedes on them as well. And then we can go ahead and just pull them open and check out the interior. This particular spec has the Neva gray with Biscay blue Nappa leather interior along with natural grain anthracite linden wood trim. You're going to see some gloss black as well. If we take a look at the door panel now, you can see that blue accent all around the top with contrast stitching. Get a nice bronze trim piece as well. You can see your heated and ventilated seats along with memory seating, all of your seat controls themselves, lock, unlock, and your release handle, all of your window controls and mirror controls, then a Burmester audio, some storage down below in the trunk release, and then some nice padding on the armrest. We get the AMG badge on the door sill. You even get blue on the carpets and then white for the actual carpeting itself. You get lumbar support controls and then all this really nice color all throughout the seating. Perforated leather in the centers, and it makes its way all the way up the backrests. You get the AMG name and even the Falterbach logo up and top with AMG. You can see that 3-spoke steering wheel with that light color, and of course your badge right in the center. And then now inside, if I go ahead and take my foot and put on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. All the electronics are going to turn on. You can hear a pretty cool animation sound as well. And then we get this full LCD display right in the center. You can see your speed on the right, gas pedal and brake pedal. Ironically, this is electric, so I don't know why it says gas pedal. However, we have our power indication in the center with speedometer and a G-force meter on the left. Now you can configure all of that using this panel on the left side of the steering wheel. So hitting the home icon, you can see all different designs. So in this one right here, changes it up a little bit. We also have a classic design, looks more like a normal car. And then we also have a more simple one, navigation, assistance, and then servicing. So pretty cool to see all this in this screen. And then down below that, taking a look at the steering wheel itself. On the right side, we have the same controls for the screen in the center. So you can go ahead and hit your home icon and adjust everything as well, and then scroll through all of that. We have controls down below for all your Bluetooth and audio, and then cruise control on the left. Now we have 2 different screens down below this. So right now we have our drive mode select. I can easily go into different drive modes, and it will also of course come up on the screen. And then on the left side, we can toggle independently different items. We have our sound, our traction control, and then we have suspension, and then the same ones. Then from here, you can just toggle these to turn them on and off and change all the different settings. So pretty neat the way everything is laid out. We do have paddle shifters as well, which adjusts your regenerative braking. That indication is going to be on the bottom right of the screen. Then we have our gear selector over on the far right, and then windshield wipers on the left with your turn signal. To the left of the steering wheel, you can see controls down below for all of your headlights. We also have the electronic parking brake and the steering column adjuster. You can see some of that wood as well as a very cool looking turbine style for the air vent. Really nice design. You can lock and unlock it as well. All this blue coming across the dashboard, and then a really cool seamless air vent as well. So really nice. There's ambient lighting up here as well. More of that wood trim. And then taking a look at the center infotainment. Pretty much what you would expect on any Mercedes. It's actually pretty easy to use. You have some of your information for charging. We have the range as well, consumption. More apps and settings within the car will all pop up. You can see your assistants you're able to adjust, cameras and everything. So pretty useful the way everything is designed. Audio, AMG performance. So under here you can see your energy flow as well as the drive. You can see the 2-motor system, vehicle itself. And then going back into home, there's media, radio, things like that. And then going into the track pace, there's a few items here for drag racing and things like that. Now if I go ahead and put the car into reverse, you're going to get that backup camera popping up. Pretty good HD graphics. You also get a top-down view, and then you can easily toggle between different views. So really nice to see kind of a 360. We have an auto setting as well. Really cool design. And if I go ahead and just kind of swipe around, it can move it front, back, and everything. Going into drive now, the guidelines change. We can take a look at that front view and just toggle everything. And then underneath that, we do get all of our climate controls on the screen. Really nice the way everything is laid out. Hitting the menu, you can change where you want the airflow to go. However, we have our nice shortcuts right here for your temperature. You can easily toggle that up and down. Same with fan speed. So it's actually a pretty easy designed the way everything is working. Underneath this, we have some physical controls. Tapping the AMG icon comes up to our sport mode control, which is the same as toggling this. You can see all the different drive modes for the engine, the suspension, as well as the sound. So pretty nice the way you have a shortcut. We have a shortcut for camera, the charging. This one right here goes into the car, where we have a few more settings. Then we have our hazards, and then all your volume controls. You're also going to see piano black all throughout the center, and when you just press this forwards, you get our 2 cup holders. You can see wireless phone charging down here as well, and then you get a little bit more storage. And then these will just slide away if you want extra storage space. And you just press them and they open up. Now you can press this button and it unveils quite a lot of storage space in the center, and I like how they are independently. You can also see we have even more storage space down below that, and then a small button on this right side to open up the glove box. And then one last look at the interior. Very unique interior, however, it is extremely premium. It feels like a very high-end, expensive car, and it is definitely a luxurious place to be. If we take a look at that same light gray color for the headliner with the dual pane panoramic roof, beautiful design to everything, LED dome lights and a frameless mirror. And then to operate all of this, if we just swipe this forward, it's actually going to close that sunshade. So really nice how it's touch sensitive. If we do that again, it'll open it up. And then take a look at the rear seat space. If I grab the door handle and open it up, door panel's finished off just like we saw up front with all those colors, and it is a nice pillarless door. We got all the same leather interior back here with the cool design. Can seat 3 people, even get the blue AMG mats. You can see some vents in the center, along with storage on the back side of the seats. And then the center seat, you can fold this part down, and we have a nice armrest with a little slot for like a tablet or something. Now if you lightly push it and open it again, you even do get 2 cup holders back here. So then sitting in the back seat of this EQE at 5'11", I do have plenty of headroom, especially with the glass above me. It's a really open and light feeling interior, especially with this color. You have good visibility with all the different windows. I will say the seats are really not comfortable at all. They don't recline or anything, and I am extremely straight up, and there is really poor lumbar support. So honestly, not the best back seat. I do have plenty of legroom and knee room, but the fact that these seats just feel really small and straight up, the fact that there's so much room and yet the seats are just so straight up, not really the most comfortable thing in the world. However, in a pinch, you can definitely fit some people back here if needed. And then moving on to the cargo area, all you have to do is press the top portion of the Mercedes badge. That's going to automatically open up. We do have quite a lot of storage space in here. It's extremely squared off, as you can see, so you can fit some pretty large items. We have a little storage net on this left side. Then grabbing this, we get just a little bit of extra space. Now on the top, we have a lock button as well as the closing button. And then these 2 buttons, if I go ahead and press them, it's going to automatically open up these seats. That's a really good touch to see. I wish more cars did that. But you can see the extra storage we're going to now get. And if we come through here, they fold down nearly flat, and a really large opening into that trunk to make this a pretty practical car, especially for storage. All right, so we are setting off in the EQE, just in the normal mode. Needless to say, this thing really is pretty darn fast. Gauge cluster is neat how you have all these cool designs. So as far as some normal driving, this drives like a Mercedes, honestly. It is very comfortable. Kind of everything you would expect it to do, it's going to do. The radar cruise, the lane keeping, all that sort of thing on cruise control, this drives very well. Fantastic view out of the front, and just this interior, it is so light and airy feeling in here, but good visibility overall. Over your right shoulder, that is the worst part of the visibility. It's just really hard to see over that right shoulder. The deck behind the headrest is very high up, and you can tell how the rear view is really narrow. So that's the only downfall. Over your left shoulder, no issues at all. The seats are insanely comfortable. You have the massaging seat function, things like that. So, I mean, this is a great place to be. Now, it does weigh a lot, but with that low center of gravity, especially when you dial it up into one of these sport modes, it is really, really planted. And honestly, no body roll at all. And the steering feel is super responsive. This is the AMG, this is the big boy of the EQE. And honestly, it shows when you are taking some turns, it is incredibly quick. One downfall is the sounds this makes, I think, are ridiculous. So in the sound mode right here, if you have it all the way into powerful sounding, that's the sound you get when you floor it. It sounds like I'm hitting 5 notes on a piano that are just awful. And then if you go into the sport one, sounds a little bit better, but quite honestly, I just think they sound kind of ridiculous. I'd rather just keep it off and have that silent power. So that is certainly a gimmick. Only other thing, and I'll say this while I'm doing the POV, I'm not a big fan of how you can see the charge in the center along with your percentage power. The speedometer is above that, and this number is way more prominent to where you kind of have to double take at your actual speed. So I wish you could configure that to where your speedometer was in the center. And on top of that, if you go to a normal gauge cluster, the steering wheel is round right here. This gauge cluster is square, so you really can't see anything above 60 miles an hour there if you have the steering wheel in a comfortable spot, at least for my height. So I would really rather have that a lot more predominant on the screen. So turning around to my perspective, my honest thoughts of this car, overall driving this around town has been pretty nice. It's comfortable, it's roomy. I mean, you have all the technology and luxuries you would want to just be in a nice Mercedes. And honestly, 110, 111 grand doesn't seem too crazy. You know, a Tesla Model S Plaid isn't really all too far off from this. And I feel like this interior is just so nice. The ride, the comfort, hitting train track bumps right now. I mean, it's just a really comfortable place to be. It's relaxing. And because you have the AMG electronics, you know, this is the powerful one. It packs a ton of power. Even when you're in just the normal comfort mode, getting up to some speed, it is just effortless. It gets up and goes. And again, my only complaints, the sounds this makes are really weird. I don't know who designed the sport sound and the powerful sound. The sport sound, I get it, that's cool enough. But the powerful, it just sounds like 10 different notes on a keyboard that you don't know how to play. So that is just the weirdest sound ever. I don't like that. I've heard much better electronic noises from other EVs. So that, I wouldn't mind a better programming, and just the gauge cluster, I wish I could see that speedometer readout in the center instead of the power percentage, because honestly, you don't need to see that power percentage. It doesn't actually give you any information. Only other thing is it says gas pedal percentage on the screen. This doesn't have a gas engine. This is electronic, so why does it say gas? So minor, very nitpicky, little silly issues with it. Overall, I think fundamentally the car is there. It really is a nice place to be. The styling's a little odd, you know, may not be for everyone, but overall it's a pretty cool car that's just nice to be in. And being the AMG one, it sort of takes your breath away. Since we have 25% left, let's do a launch. 0 to 60 on this is pretty impressive. Man. I'm gonna put my head back. Whew. Alright, not bad. I'd say like 0 to 20, 0 to 30 is what really gets you. After that, it feels pretty quick. It's not quite on the level of a Model S Plaid, but this thing, you're not going to have any issues just ripping it. And I've enjoyed driving the electric car around town just because if you got to get into a lane, you merge into traffic, give it a little throttle and you're going. I think the materials are nice in it overall, and yeah, I don't really have any major complaints as a car. I think my only complaints as a car would just be the rear visibility. That window is really tiny and it feels like it's very far behind you. So the rear visibility just isn't the best. It's nothing you can't get around with, of course, using your side mirrors and things like that in the camera. So it's not a deal breaker or anything like that. But I think overall the car has the fundamentals to be a very nice electric car. It doesn't feel weird or too futuristic like some do. It feels like a Mercedes, something you're familiar with. The controls are all the same in other Mercedes, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. Only difference is it has the drivetrain of an EV. So I think Mercedes did a good job at least making this feel like a cool car to do. If they could just change those weird sounds into something better, I think that would be my only major complaint with the car. But overall, that is the 2023 Mercedes Benz EQE, the AMG version. This thing is pretty cool, and this spec is beautiful. This is just a classy, luxurious place to be. And we'll do one more acceleration. However, I'm going to turn the sound off because I don't like that. Whoa, man. Yeah, it packs a nice punch. You get up to 70, 80 without really thinking. But that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video, taking a look at one of Mercedes' new EVs. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you guys in the next video.